Welcome to the Cynthia Nyamai Show. We are still celebrating women, and we could do this the whole year. Our guest today is going to teach us something simple about love. People say that women are so emotional and so on, but you know what? The first step to happiness is falling in love with yourself. Let's find out more about our guest. Neomi Wambui Ng'ang'a is a Kenyan actress and entrepreneur. Her acting career started when she landed a role on Wash and Set that transitioned to jobs on other movies, series, and plays like Fundamentals, Demigods, News of Gold, among others. Today, she wears many hats, including running a fashion brand for plus-size women, which celebrates women of different sizes. Thank you so much, Neomi Ng'ang'a, for joining us today. And you always make me laugh.
Asante, thank you.
And today I'm so happy that sasa hata nitakujua up close and personal.
Kabisa.
Let me start with, where did you grow up? Which part? I know it was Nairobi.
Yes.
Which part of Nairobi did you grow up in?
All right, so I was brought up in Huruma. It was at the Islands by my mom. And then after a while, when I was around 13 years, she left us and I was left with my brothers.
She left you in terms of, she passed
on, yes. So I was left with my brothers. It was quite a struggle. Kwa slums, and you don't have a mom and you're still in school. So trying to figure out life at that time ilikuwa very, very tricky. So after a while, I moved and I started living by myself at the age of 17.
17.
I started paying my rent at the age of 17, yes.
Paying rent at 17?
Yes, at 17.
Let me take you back a
Yes.
little bit. How was it for a 13-year-old without her mother?
It was quite difficult. And also imagining you are with boys, because we were a family of 7 boys, 1 girl. But most of my brothers were all grown up, married. So the only brothers that we were left with walikuwa young in terms of, okay, me nilikuwa young, I'm the last born, but also they were teenagers at that time. So it was difficult because now there is no mother figure.
And maybe even being the youngest girl, now you're expected to take care of her.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was difficult. Alafu najua ghetto, the way there's no motivation in ghetto. Every time you walk up, there are crimes, women are giving birth, as in hakuna mwelekeo. So it was quite difficult. And so at that time, nika-join theater, nika-join acting, theater. So I had created friends at that time. And so I could see the life they were living. So that's what kept motivating me. And so ile pesa kidogo litoka, I really wanted to get out of that ghetto. And that's when I moved out at the age of 17. And with the small money, the promotions, the theater acting, I started staying alone.
At that age, did you still have this sense of humor and na kujua tu hata kuongea na watu, because you walked into this place, everyone just started laughing. Hata we had to come and tell you, punguza kidogo. Everyone was laughing around you.
I think, my mom played a very big role, especially before she passed on, in installing confidence and I was her queen, like I was her everything. Her plan was to have 2 boys, but she had to give 7 boys to get this girl. So you can imagine by the time nakuja, the excitement alikuwa nayo. So I was her everything. And I think that's where I even got my confidence from, because she kept on telling me how beautiful, how amazing I am, spoiling me here and there. So I had that aura even, nikiwa uko 2 slums. So they used to call me a name called Kamzungu. Kamzungu is Kamzungu. So I still had it. I was vibrant. I was a happy child. I was really a happy child. Yes.
So age 17, Kamzungu akahama.
Kamzungu akahama sasa. Maisha kakagonga. Imagine uko 17 una hustle kulipa rent, na hiyo time rent iko very expensive. I remember that my first house was like 600 shillings.
Wapi 600?
Sitaki kusema hiyo. Dandora, anyway, I moved from Huruma. So usijui places zingine. So unaangalia tu neighborhood zako and where you can afford. So I moved to Dandora. And that's where I used to stay. So I used to juggle to jobs up as a safari kuuza kadi, nini airtime kadi, acting here and there, alafu nalipa rent huko. So I survived there until the 20 years. And then I met friends. I was introduced to other jobs and I moved out.
Which other jobs were you introduced to?
So it's a chain. So I've worked with Deacons. I used to be a sales fashion assistant at Deacons at that time. I also have worked with DSTV, like in Go TV, like just a sales representative. Yes.
So when you go get,
I mean, like a hustler. Ukikumbuka hiyo life ya ghetto unasema sirudi.
Nini ilikuwa inakumotivate even for a 17-year-old to go out, look for a job, move out? Nini ilikuwa inakupush na kumotivate sana hivyo? So like au marafiki nilikuwa nao, so I was lucky to have au marafiki at that time. So walikuwa invite huko kwao huko Makilimani, Lang'ata hiyo time. Naona kuna life poa, kuna watu wanaishi vizuri, kuna watu wana drive nini. So I really wanted that life. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa tu inastik kwa kichwa yangu. So hata niko tunauza mtu nafanyanga nini ndio uishi hivi. So I really, that's the drive I used to get that time, just to get out of that life ya ghetto and just have a good life that watu wengine wakishuku nje. Yeah. And when did you discover you can act? I remember when I was in high school, there used to be a drama club, but I was never part of it. So kuna siku one of the members wa drama club hakukua. And so they had to replace someone. And because we looked alike, wakaniita. Na sikuwa act before ever. So I went there. Akona kamzungu. Wakapumpu mtoka hivi. So I went, I was taken through a few classes of acting, kidogo tu. And then after kufanya hiyo role, I emerged to be the best in that competition, that drama competition. I was awarded a certificate. So kwanza hapo nikasema kumbe there's a wiki kuna gift. Lakini wewe unakatu ulikuwa hata una act before that. Mbele ya walimu na wale students, mbele ya una make noise, mwalimu akikaa mwende unajifanya mzuri hapo. Hapo make noise ni ukweli. Hapo ni ukweli kabisa. So ulipata hiyo role haraka sana. Geji ya mdomo. So after hapo so siku act tena. So then kanafanya hizo jobs zingine niko nakwambia. And then there's a time a friend of mine anaenda auditions Kenya National Theatre. So akaniambia nimpeleke. So kumpeleka National Theatre, so mimi nimeka hapo nje na goja aingie. So akaingia akatoka, but akatoka na director. Akauliza akaniuliza audition, nikamwambia hapana, mimi sijakuja ku audition, nimekuja kulete rafiki yangu audition. Akaniambia no, we try, ingie utry. Nikamwambia hapana, mimi hizi sifanyangi acting, mimi sifanyangi. Akaniambia hapana, ingie utry. So nikaingia nikatry and I got the role and my pal didn't get the role. Yeah, it was sad, but yeah. And even as you were taking her, you were taking your friend for that role, what had you planned for your life? Ulikuwa umepanga nini? Ulikuwa umepanga utaenda sasa college ama career gani? Niko nafaa kwenda college, but mimi nilikuwa nafanyanga tu hizo jobs zingine tu hizo nakwambia za sales. Ulikuwa kusomea nini? Nilitanga. At first nilikuwa kwa air hostess, nikaambiwa watu wanono air hostess. Nikaacha. So nikasema sana nataka kuwa kufanya hotel management. Tena saidia kupika tena sana. Niko sio strength. Kidogo nikataka kufanya tour guide. I was so confused. Tour guide. So I tried different courses that time, but acting ikakuja catch up. Ni kama it's the way people say this career found me. Acting. Yes, actually acting found me. Yeah, or acting called you. Yes, it did. Alafu, did you eventually decide like this is my career? So I did PR, I did international PR. Yes. Hiyo ndio nilimaliza nikafanya diploma. But sasa bado acting ziko zinaendelea kukuja. So nilimaliza tu for the cert. Kwa tu na hiyo paper. Ni fresh baba yangu at that time. Yeah, story ishe. Yeah. And then when did you start the big screen and us seeing you on TV? Which was your first show? Nikifanya hizo plays at theater, kulikuwa na mini breaks in between hizo nilikuwa nafanya hizo jobs zingine. So there was this time tumevutwa job moja, so tuko tao, we are figuring out kuja tunaenda kupeleka CV place nyingine. So tumesimama hapo Nation Center nje, tumeshikilia CV zetu. So I was with my pal, another pal, sio huyo. So kama nimesimama hapo nje, there's a guy who came. Akaniuliza, una acting kwa TV? Nikamwambia hapana. Nikamwambia mimi sijai act kwa TV, but mu act plays the theater. Imenitafuta, by the way imenitafuta. So nikamwambia hapana, yes mu act once in a while, lakini mu act hizo set books za theater. Yeah. Akaniambia unaweza niallow nikuchukue picha yako, alafu ndakupigia simu next week. Nikamwambia hapana, nyinyi wale con man mtakunipeleka kwa devil worship huko. Unipige picha yako. So nikakataa. So
akanibembeleza, but tukiongea, a friend of mine, huyo best yangu akakuja, alikuwa step aside, sikumbuki kufanya nini. Akaanza nini, nikamwambia ni mtu anainsist kuchukua picha yangu na mimi sijui ndaipeleka wapi. Akaulizwa mtu wewe ni nani, akasema mimi ni producer wa NTV na nataka tu kuchukua picha yake nikuoneshe wadosi wangu, alafu kama kuna opportunity tutawapigia simu. Akaniambia una lose nini, wewe pigwa picha. So nikapigwa, mtu akanipiga picha na akaenda. So kutembea tu hapo, after kutoka Nation Set tukaanza kutembea tukieleza side za audio, tukienda kutafuta mat. Then my phone was grabbed. That's tumesha exchange number na mtu. Anyway, so tukasikia tu vibaya. So hiyo time kupata phone ilikuwa hard sana. So 2 weeks I didn't have a phone. Bado nachanga ubai simu. So when I got a new phone, the first person who called me, that guy,
akwambia vile amekutafuta.
Akaniambia amenitafuta. Akaniambia umechaguliwa, kuna role mpya umepata ya NTV, program inajiita Wash and Set and you'll be a main role. So tuambie utalipishaje?
Hata ukaja unaweza upgrade simu hata sasa.
Hata sasa sijui unalipishangaje kwa TV. Nikamwambia nyinyi mnataka kunilipaje? Nyinyi mnalipanga watu aje? So nikamwambia pesa nyingine hapo sijaisikia. So that's how.
Ukasema tu yes.
Nikasema tu yes. So hapo nikazanga Wash and Set. Yeah, and we shot like almost 20 seasons with that, 15 seasons. Wow. Yeah, so from there two kazi zikaanza tu.
Now Wash and Set, it was, you know, okay, it's acting, but it's a bit different in front of cameras and so on. How hiyo ilikuwa aje?
Ilikuwa challenging. Mimi ongea sana. So na nimetoka theater. Sasa theater una shout juu ya audience, mwenye huko mwisho akusikie. So nikakuwa kwa kamera mimi niko naongea na
hata naomba kuna mic.
Nilikuwa naongea sana alafu na move. Yaani ilikuwa challenging, but tulikuwa director mzuri, Mary Megwe, mwenye at least alikuwa jaribu kunimold. But now my character ilikuwa so niliblend in easily kwa sababu ilikuwa about a ghetto girl. Mwenye girl kwa salon. So hizi ni vitu mimi nimeishi kuona ghetto huko kwetu Huruma. Hizo zilikuwa sana mpaka ilifika point wao daita akaniambia sasa wewe utakupatianga tu outline, wewe tu do venye unadwingi huko kwenyu.
Yes. Wetu ni natural.
Very natural, mdomo tu.
And you've been quite successful. I want us to talk a little bit about that because after that kuna ma-impress na mimi nilikuwa fan wako number 1 kabisa.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about also the other roles that you've had. That and more coming up shortly.
So when I went to Nakumat, nikauliza kama wako na nguo za plus size, walinipeleka maternity side. Unapeleka kwenye kuna ma night dress.
Welcome back to the Cynthia Nyamai show. Now I was talking to Neomi Ng'ang'a, who was telling us about her life, how she got into acting and just what some of the roles that you've had. So you're even told, you know what, go ahead. We'll just give you an outline and you know how to play the character very well. So clearly for you, acting is a natural. After Wash and Set, nini ilikuja next?
Zilikuja mingi. So I did Demigods, I did Sumula Penzi, I did Shattered, a collaboration of Kenyan and Nigerian film. Hey, there were quite a number.
That's a good thing to say about your career.
Yes.
And I've noticed that sometimes the character you play changes.
Yes.
Which is quite interesting because sometimes I'm waiting to see this go-lucky fun girl. Ule hata atatuambia the latest story ile inaendelea kwa mtaa. But sometimes you're a bit more serious.
Intense.
How are you able to change the roles until we actually believe this new role and character that you have?
So you know, it's acting, and as an actor, you have to have diversity so that you can be able to fit in different roles. Yeah, because I remember like Demigod, it was a very intense role for me.
Yes.
I was a mother of 2 daughters who were being raped by their dad, and I really had to go that emotional journey all through that series. So you diversify.
And how do you get into that character and into that role?
As what I do with most of my roles, I try live within the life of that role. I try and, because most of the roles in acting, it's things that are happening around us. If it's a thief, it's someone you've seen, or you've come across all the time. If it's a witch, you know how the idea of a witch. So I try and fit in from what I see and from what I know, to fit in that character and behave how I see them, and just connect with them emotionally in that character. Yeah.
And have you been looking also to know, I know there's one where it was in collaboration with Nigeria.
Yes.
Are you also looking for more international roles?
Yes, let them come, yes. But the only challenge I get with international films, especially when I go for auditions, wanasema sikai sijui nisemaje, Mwafrika kabisa, authentic African kabisa. Especially the English films, I don't fit in those roles, because they are looking for that melanin, that African melanin structure. So I tend to miss them a lot. But maybe when it comes to West Africa, I fit in quite well.
But you're multi-talented, because you're also a businesswoman.
Yes.
Apart from just acting.
Yes.
And one thing I like about your business, it's for curvy women.
Yes.
Like me.
Yes.
And you've made us accept ourselves as curvy women.
Yes.
That the right size is not just that small size. How did you come up with that business idea?
With the business idea. So when I was getting into the film industry, it was quite a challenge to see a big woman in the film industry, because that time the ideal beauty from the society was, of course, the slim girls. So for you to be put in a main role as a plus size woman was quite a challenge. But mimi ya kierere yangu na confidence yangu and the talent, of course, I managed to get a few roles, and it encouraged a lot of women. When women wakiona kwa screen, kwa commercials, were like, okay, so even a big girl can do this. So a lot of women started reaching out to me. I mean, how do I get film? How do I get this? How do I look confident? How do I, just be like you? And so I created a movement at that time out of those messages of women telling me their story, how they are struggling with their body weight, how they are struggling with their insecurities. I remember there's a time also I wanted to shop for, there was a red carpet event, and I was looking for a dress, and that time mimi fashion sense yangu ilikuwa juu. So kuna watu niko na admireanga, una kina Beyonce huko, akina nani, una zile nguo wanavaa, because at that time I'm young. But kinaangalia mwili mimi ni mkubwa, but niko young, niko around 23, 24, so I still want to look sassy, trendy. So there's a time I went to look for clothes, nikazunguka town mzima sikupata. Then someone akaniambia Nakumatt at that time wanauzanga nguo. So when I went to Nakumatt, nikauliza kama wako na nguo za plus size, walinipeleka maternity side. Unapeleka kwenye kuna night dress, because that time perception nguo tu kubwa yoyote tu ugly ni plus size. So I was so discouraged. So I ended up going to that red carpet not so confident. So I got discouraged. So nikaanza kufikiria naweza patanga wapi hizi nguo za pluses, but because I have inspirations, where can I find these clothes? So nikaanza kutry kushona. That time napelekea mafundi, but bado wanielewi. Ukienda kupima nguo napata maajabu zingine hujaiona. So I took it upon me, nikasema how can I create a line that fits for women like me, because I know we are a lot of us that are suffering. So no, nikaanza tu kufanya research yangu hapa na pale, speaking to different designers, how they do it, how they started. And so I gathered quite information on nikaanza fashion yangu. I started very small. Sikuwa na pesa that time. Very, very small. I remember I had 30,000. So I walked around town, nikatafuta kaduka, around 15K, nilikuwa na M-Pesa, nikalipa tu. Na hata sina mashini, sina nini.
Wewe tu ulikuwa umejiamini.
Mimi nilikuwa nishajiamini. Nikalipa duka, 1 month later nikabai mashini. Hiyo mwezi mwingine nikaanza kwenda huko chini kutafuta fabrics ni nini. So I got a tailor. Nikaulizanga around nikapata tailor. So I was my first client actually. So nikanga tailor for like 3 months. Anashonanga tu nguo zangu. So every time nikivaa hizo nguo nikitoka nje, Naomi ulipata wapi? Where did you get this? So nikaanza sasa kutengeneza mingi za kuuza. So at finally nikasema now let me introduce this line Style by Neomi.
Business expansion, are you thinking of maybe doing something else apart from just fashion?
So for me, I want to create a business that caters for the plus size women, all around it. Talk of hair, everything, one-stop shop for plus size women. And I want to make sure that it's serving the whole of Africa. I want to have franchises all over Africa. You see the way you walk into Akina Zara, Akina Nani, I want to have a Style by Neomi all over Africa. Yes.
And as I mentioned before, you really market your business online, even when you're acting and everything.
Yes.
You see. But kuna side yako moja sijaiona. Dating life yako, tuambie.
Dating life, niko na Yesu. Yesu ndio
Amen.
amenishikilia. Mtu akikuja
hata sijaiona ukiweka hiyo picha sasa story za Yesu.
Unaekanga tu quotes. Angalianga tu quotes. But mtu akikuja hii ndio sign ya nini.
Lakini na dating sasa, who's the man in your life?
Aja, so utaona ring tu ikikuja.
We are talking like we've known each other for 10 years.
I know.
But the reason why it's so easy to connect with you is because you openly share your life, your ups, your down moments, and you're openly giving people even advice. And telling us as women, you know, you can do it, push on, and so on. As we are closing the show, and this month we are celebrating women, what advice do you have for them?
I'll still go back to my plus size women, and I believe when you're confident, you can conquer anything. Let me tell you, when you have a lot of insecurity, your career is affected, your family is affected.
That's true.
Everything is affected around you. People may not see it, but when you don't believe in yourself, when you don't love yourself, when you don't feel like you're the best version of yourself, it's so hard to achieve a lot of things because you always pull yourself down. There's something that will always be pulling yourself down. So for me is kwanza jipende. Ujipende the way you are. I tell women, sikwambi usikonde. You can lose weight if you want to lose weight, if you want to go do your liposuction, you can go ahead. But where you are right now, love who you are. And you have better strength to celebrate more than body size, beyond body size.
That's true.
You know, and this body is not going to change overnight. Utaamka kesho kwa Cynthia mwingine. So jipende, appreciate yourself, look at other great things that you've done with your life, celebrate those things, let them motivate you to even do better as you work on your body goals, but don't let your body weight take away all your life. Don't let it take away all your life. A lot of women are dying as they hate themselves, as they don't achieve their goals because they are really focusing on their bodies, hating themselves. To an extent, we're going to commit suicide just because they don't love themselves anymore. So for me, it's just to encourage women to love themselves, pass the love to your daughters, because I had a discussion the other day about bringing strong women, bringing confident women. It all starts in the roots. Okay, Angelia, Cynthia, if your mother never told you you're beautiful or encouraged you or even had time to mold you as a woman, grow up, unapatanga those issues are catching up with you. And then if they catch up with Cynthia, that means Cynthia will pass it to her daughter. So we create a generation of not so confident women. So like International Women's Day, my message is let's start building confidence of our daughters from a very young age, from their womb actually. Start speaking to them affirmations of confidence, affirmations of love. And once they're out, continue with that message. And you'll be bringing up a confident and a strong woman who will pass it to another woman. Yes.
Thank you so much, Naomi, for joining us. I know your nickname was Mzungu, but me nitakuita Mzungu Wise. You've given us a lot of wisdom. And one of the things I picked up from this conversation, it sounds really simple, but it's profound. Love yourself. And she's a stranger. I've never met her before, but I used to love her, respect her. Why? She taught me how to love her and respect her. See you next week.